Welcome to District Command Central, your go-to source for the latest news and updates on the Washington Commanders. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a play. Under the bright lights of Monday Night Football, with the nation watching and storylines swirling like autumn winds over FedEx Field, the Washington Commanders are gearing up for a rematch that carries far more emotional weight than either side wants to admit. The Chicago Bears are coming to town, fresh off their bye week and still wearing the scars, mental and otherwise, from one of last season's most chaotic endings. The Commanders, led by the cool and calculated Jaden Daniels, are determined not to let nostalgia or last year's drama cloud what's at stake now. And if you ask Daniels or head coach Dan Quinn, they'll tell you one thing loud and clear. That Hail Mary, that miraculous, last-second moment that left fans breathless and memes running wild across social media, is ancient history. The NFL doesn't reward those who live in the past, it punishes them. For those who might have missed it or have conveniently chosen to forget, the last meeting between the Commanders and Bears was one of the most jaw-dropping finishes of the season. It wasn't just a game, it was a spectacle. Daniels, then still a rookie trying to carve out his place in a league that eats young quarterbacks alive, unleashed a desperate heave into the night sky. A Hail Mary that defied logic, physics, and maybe even divine reason. It was caught. It was chaos. And it was the kind of play that turns anonymous names into folklore. That one throw catapulted the Commanders into a playoff run, sparked belief across the locker room, and arguably shifted the trajectory of the entire franchise. Meanwhile, the Bears fell apart after that loss, spiraling through inconsistency, injuries, and finger-pointing, leading to major off-season overhauls that included staff changes and philosophical resets. But that was then. This is now. And Jaden Daniels, as he so often reminds reporters with that composed, almost zen-like demeanor, isn't interested in revisiting old headlines. When asked about the play and its emotional residue, Daniels didn't hesitate to shut the door on it. "I just left that in last year," he said. "It speaks for itself. That Hail Mary ain't gonna help us win a game on Monday. So what's the point?" That kind of mindset is what has earned Daniels the respect of veterans across the locker room. It's not just about what he says. It's the way he says it, with quiet conviction. He's not chasing ghosts. He's building something new, one snap at a time. And for a young quarterback in a city that has seen its fair share of false dawns, that maturity is everything. Dan Quinn, the Commanders' no-nonsense head coach, is on the exact same wavelength. Quinn has been around long enough to know that nostalgia is poison in the NFL. He's seen teams crumble because they tried to relive a moment instead of creating a new one. "It's last year's story," Quinn said when pressed about whether the Hail Mary has been discussed with the team. "It was awesome. We loved it, but it doesn't apply to this week's game at all unless we get into that exact scenario and that exact situation. So then we can talk about it. But until then, we have a lot of stuff to get better at and work on to get ready." That's pure Quinn, straightforward, pragmatic, and focused on execution. The message couldn't be clearer. You can't beat a team like Chicago, no matter what their record says, if you're living in the rearview mirror. And make no mistake, this Bears team is not the same one Washington faced last season. Coming off their bye, Chicago has had extra time to regroup, recalibrate, and refocus their offense under a new play-calling structure designed to take pressure off their quarterback. The Bears' defense, too, has quietly started to find its rhythm, with improved communication in the secondary and a pass rush that looks revitalized. This isn't the wounded team limping into Washington hoping to survive. This is a team with something to prove, eager to exorcise the ghosts of that Hail Mary heartbreak. For them, this game isn't just about standings, it's about pride. On the other side, the Commanders are looking to keep their own momentum alive. After a gritty, confidence-boosting win last week, they've started to show flashes of the balance Quinn envisioned when he took the job. The defense, which has been inconsistent at times, is beginning to find its bite again. The offense, led by Daniels, has shown growth, more rhythm, better decision-making, and fewer of the reckless mistakes that often plague young quarterbacks. Daniels' chemistry with his receivers is evolving week by week, and his ability to extend plays with his legs continues to be a nightmare for defensive coordinators. Still, Quinn knows that consistency is the name of the game in the NFC, where every single matchup feels like a mini playoff. You can't let one slip, especially not at home. There's also something almost poetic about how Daniels and Quinn have handled the elephant in the room, as the media likes to call it. In an age where players and coaches often feed into narratives, using them as motivation, bulletin board material, or emotional fuel, both men have chosen detachment. It's not apathy, it's discipline. Daniels, in particular, has been laser-focused on his preparation. Teammates talk about how he's the first in the building and the last to leave, how he studies defenses like a chess grandmaster studying his opponent's tendencies. That's what separates potential from promise. He knows he can't afford to let the moment overwhelm him, especially in prime time, where every throw, every decision, every hesitation is magnified. Yet for all the talk about moving on, there's no denying that this game carries emotional undercurrents. You can sense it in the way fans talk about it, in the way players glance up at the scoreboard during practice, as if subconsciously remembering how it all ended last time. The NFL is a league built on narratives, and whether Quinn and Daniels like it or not, the ghosts of last season's miracle are going to hover over the field Monday night. The question isn't whether they can escape it, it's whether they can rise above it. Daniels' words suggest he already has, but football has a funny way of testing conviction when the pressure mounts. The locker room seems to have adopted Daniels' energy. Veterans like Terry McLaurin have echoed the same sentiment, emphasizing the importance of execution over emotion. The Commanders have spent the week drilling fundamentals, sharpening their red zone efficiency, and preparing for a Bears defense that disguises coverages better than most. Quinn's defensive philosophy has also evolved. He's no longer just relying on scheme. He's relying on adaptability. He knows that no game plan survives contact with the opponent, and it's the teams that adjust fastest that usually walk away victorious. If there's one thing that defines this new era of Commanders football, it's accountability. Quinn preaches it, Daniels embodies it, and the team is beginning to live it. They're no longer the group that needs a miracle to win. They're trying to become the team that doesn't need one. That's what makes this rematch more than just another Monday night spectacle. It's a measuring stick. Are the Commanders ready to take that next step, to dominate the games they should win and compete in the ones they shouldn't? Or will old habits, old ghosts, come back to haunt them once again? For the Bears, this game is personal. They've had to relive that Hail Mary for an entire offseason, hearing the jokes, seeing the highlights, enduring the endless replays. They've circled this date on their calendar. But revenge, as sweet as it sounds, can be a dangerous motivator in football. It can cloud judgment, force plays that shouldn't be made, and push teams into emotional overdrive. The Bears' challenge will be to balance that fire with focus, to channel their frustration into execution. If they can do that, this could easily turn into one of the most compelling matchups of the week. As kickoff approaches, there's an almost cinematic tension building. The storyline writes itself. The miracle thrower facing the haunted defense, both teams trying to prove something entirely different. But as Daniel said, the past can't win games. Only the present can. And for the Commanders, that means executing their offense with precision, keeping Daniels upright, and letting their defense dictate tempo. For the Bears, it means staying disciplined, forcing Daniels into uncomfortable situations, and finishing drives, something they failed to do last year when it mattered most. Whatever happens Monday night, one thing is certain. The NFL loves its redemption arcs, and this game has all the makings of one. Whether it's Daniels proving that his breakout wasn't a fluke, Quinn reinforcing his culture of accountability, or the Bears clawing back from humiliation, someone's story will shift dramatically under those primetime lights. The cameras will capture every emotion, every sideline reaction, every fist pump or head shake. That's what makes this league so intoxicating. Every game is a drama, every moment a chance at rebirth. So when Jaden Daniels walks out of that tunnel on Monday night, with the crowd roaring and the memories of last year flickering faintly in the background, he won't be thinking about that Hail Mary. He'll be thinking about the next throw, the next read, the next chance to prove that greatness isn't built on one moment. It's built on all the ones that follow. And that, more than anything, is why Washington believes this isn't just another rematch. It's a new chapter, one they plan to write their own way. If you're enjoying the coverage, make sure to smash that like button and drop a comment with your thoughts on the Commanders' latest moves. We want to hear from you. Hold on to your seats, NFL fans, because the league just dropped a bombshell that no one saw coming. In a move that's sending shockwaves across the football world, the Washington Commanders have officially finalized a trade that brings running back Brian Robinson Jr. to their roster. That's right, Brian Robinson Jr., the dynamic back who has already shown flashes of brilliance on the field, is now a Commander, and the implications of this deal are massive, both for Washington and for the rest of the league. Rumors had been swirling for weeks, whispers in the locker room and on social media about possible shakeups in the running back position, but nobody could have predicted this exact outcome. And yet, here we are, with the deal done and Robinson Jr. set to suit up in burgundy and gold, a development that immediately fuels questions about the Commanders' offensive strategy moving forward and the kinds of plays we might see this season. The trade itself was shrouded in secrecy until the last minute, keeping fans, analysts, and even rival teams on edge. Sources close to the team hinted that Washington had been aggressively pursuing Robinson Jr. for some time, impressed by his explosive speed, agility, and the way he can shift gears in an instant, turning ordinary plays into highlight reels. The Commanders, who have been searching for a running back capable of consistently breaking the line and giving their offense a new dimension, clearly saw Robinson Jr. as the missing piece. And let's be honest, he's exactly the kind of player who can electrify a stadium, bring fans to their feet, and change the momentum of games in a heartbeat. There's a reason whispers of this trade had been circulating. Insiders were reporting behind closed doors that negotiations had been tense, with both sides weighing not just the financials, but the potential impact on team chemistry, long-term contracts, and the evolving draft strategy. Brian Robinson Jr.'s journey to this point has been nothing short of fascinating. He emerged as a standout talent in college, but even as he proved himself in the pros, there were always debates about where he truly fit in the NFL hierarchy. Some scouts pegged him as a rotational back, others saw him as a future star capable of carrying a team's rushing attack. Now, with the Commanders betting on him as a centerpiece of their offensive plans, the stakes couldn't be higher. Fans in Washington are buzzing with anticipation, imagining what a healthy, confident Robinson Jr. could bring to their team. Could he become the cornerstone that elevates Washington's offense to new heights? Could this trade be the start of a renaissance, not just for the running game, but for the Commanders as a whole? The murmurs on forums, Twitter threads, and fan communities are electric, full of speculation, excitement, and yes, some nervous skepticism, because high-profile trades always carry risk. But if there's one thing everyone agrees on, it's that this is a move designed to shake things up. The timing of the trade is also intriguing. The NFL calendar is filled with strategic windows, and pulling off a trade of this magnitude now signals an aggressive approach from the Commanders' front office. It's a statement that says Washington isn't willing to wait for gradual improvement. They want impact, they want results, and they believe Brian Robinson Jr. can deliver both. The whispers behind closed doors suggest that internal evaluations, film study, and even conversations with coaching staff played critical roles in pushing this deal over the finish line. There's also talk that Robinson Jr.'s skill set complements Washington's current offensive weapons in a way that could create matchup nightmares for opponents. Speed on the edges, power through the middle, and a backfield that can keep defenses guessing. These are the ingredients that could turn the Commanders into a legitimately dangerous offensive unit this season. And that's exactly what has pundits and fans alike leaning in, analyzing every angle, and speculating on how the coaching staff will integrate him into the game plan. Of course, any trade of this magnitude comes with its controversies and debates. Critics are already questioning whether the Commanders gave up too much in return, whether Robinson Jr.'s style fits their long-term vision, and how quickly he can adapt to a new system. There are whispers about locker room dynamics, leadership roles, and whether existing players will embrace a newcomer so prominently spotlighted. And yet, amidst all the chatter, the excitement is palpable. Robinson Jr. isn't just a capable running back. He's a player with the kind of highlight reel potential that sells jerseys, fills stadiums, and keeps commentators talking for weeks. Analysts are already speculating about which games he might dominate, which defenses could struggle to contain him, and how this trade might ripple through other teams, prompting rival GMs to consider their own roster adjustments. In other words, this isn't just a player acquisition. It's a conversation starter, a season-defining move that could alter the narrative for Washington and the league at large. And let's not overlook the media frenzy that naturally follows a blockbuster trade like this. Sports networks, podcasts, and YouTube channels are abuzz with debates about Robinson Jr.'s fit, his potential breakout moments, and what this means for Washington's playoff hopes. Rumors abound, with some insiders hinting that the Commanders might even make additional moves to strengthen the offensive line or tweak the receiving core to maximize Robinson Jr.'s impact. Fan reactions range from sheer excitement to cautious optimism, with the social media landscape lighting up with memes, predictions, and fiery debates about who will benefit most from this trade. The storytelling potential here is huge. Narratives about redemption, opportunity, and career-defining performances are already emerging, and we haven't even seen Robinson Jr. in a Commander's uniform yet. The energy is electric, and every day leading up to the season promises new layers to this unfolding story. Meanwhile, rival teams are quietly assessing the fallout. Scouts are breaking down game tape, coaches are reevaluating defensive schemes, and front offices are calculating how Robinson Jr.'s presence might shift the balance of power within the division. The whispers of game-changing acquisition are starting to sound like a chorus, repeated across team facilities and boardrooms from coast to coast. And in a league where momentum is everything, the psychological impact of landing a player of Robinson Jr.'s caliber cannot be overstated. Washington isn't just adding a back. They're sending a message that they're serious about contending, about making a mark, and about shaking up the competitive landscape. Every analyst, every commentator, every fan is watching closely, trying to predict how quickly this addition could translate into wins, highlight reels, and, ultimately, a return to prominence for a team eager to redefine its identity. So, what's next for Brian Robinson Jr. and the Commanders? That's the million-dollar question that keeps sports insiders up at night. Will he immediately command a feature role, or will the coaching staff ease him in strategically? How will his style mesh with the existing offensive scheme, and can the Commanders leverage his strengths to exploit weaknesses in rival defenses? The speculation is endless, and that's exactly what makes this trade such a hot topic right now. Fans are already imagining the first game, the first touchdown, the first highlight that reminds everyone why trades like this are the lifeblood of NFL drama. And as training camp approaches, the excitement is only going to build, with every practice snap, every preseason match, and every media interaction adding fuel to the fire. Washington may have made a trade, but the league is watching, waiting, and wondering just how far this bold move can take them. In the end, this trade is more than just a roster change. It's a story, a rumor come to life, a narrative that could define a season. Brian Robinson Jr. to the Commanders is the kind of headline that makes fans talk, analysts speculate, and rival teams rethink their strategies. It's a move loaded with potential, drama, and the promise of unforgettable moments on the field. And if there's one thing we know about the NFL, it's that surprises like this rarely stay contained for long. So buckle up, because with Robinson Jr. in burgundy and gold, the Commanders are signaling that they're ready to make noise, and the league will be watching every electrifying step of the way. Thanks for tuning into District Command Central. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for all the Commanders news you need. Until next time, keep the faith and hail to the Commanders.